Do you feel like you're kind of settling into things a little bit more? The trade rumors have dissipated and crushed trades and stuff like that have been in the past for a few days now.
Yeah, you know what? I tell you what, the guys have been terrific. You know, I mean, we've had great practices, and it really, you know, obviously there's been a lot swirling, but once we've stepped out on the floor, really you kind of forget, you know, about all that stuff, and you just teach and coach and work and all that, and the guys have done a terrific job with it all. So, yeah, it's obviously a little easier to not hear that stuff as much, but I don't think it really has bothered us, at least when we've gotten on the court.
What do you try to do, if anything, to create as much of a sense of normalcy as possible?
Just do my job. You know, I think if I start acting different or out of the ordinary, then you know, players are smart. They'll pick up on that, and they'll see or they'll feel the concern or whatever. But you know, I get paid to coach and to coach whoever's out on that floor, and the players they get paid to play, no matter who's on the floor. So we just go about and doing our jobs. I mean, you know, this is my practice plan for today, and and not one time I had one of these every practice, and not one time did we make an adjustment on here because a guy's out. Now, if I sit a guy out, like for instance, I set Kobe and I said Devin and character set them out, I might put on here out, but our practice plan is the same. You know, we don't make adjustments to it.
Can you make copies of that for everyone?
You can have this.
I'll take it.
It's just training camp bumps and bruises, you know, nicks and knacks, stuff like that. I will at times sit a guy out. I've done it in the past. I'll do it in the future. You know.
Yeah, the quote on top of your practice sheet, does that change every day? Do you have a new team every day? I saw. You had something about chemistry.
You got quick eyes.
Right in my.
No, that's the same.
That's the same.
It's my definition of what I think chemistry is. My definition of chemistry is trust. So that's why it's there.
Has that been harder to develop? And I know trades are part of the business, but is that something harder to do when you're in a situation where you hear things all the time and you don't know if you're going to be with the team?
Yeah, I mean, it can be. You know, it's human nature to, you know, especially when you know people for a while or you have a group and you feel good about the group and now changes are made, it can be. But, you know, I think you're not going to develop trust in a week. You're not, whether they're trades or not trades, you're not going to develop it right away. It's going to take some time to develop that. I think initially, when you're new to a group or you're new to a situation, it doesn't start off with automatic trust. That's where we want to get to. I think if you're a good guy and you're dealing with other good guys, then the respect will be there just because you're good human beings. And then after a while, that respect hopefully will translate to a trust, or will build into a trust. And then that's when things are a lot better.
Right. That quote, have you had it your whole life, your coaching career? How did that begin? Trust.
Well, you know, the one thing that you always hear when people have success, it doesn't matter if it's in the sports world with the sports team or corporate world or even your guys' business. If you want to be the #1 newspaper or the #1 media outlet station or whatever, you know, a lot of times if you are there, whoever's in charge or whoever's part of it might say, you know, we got great chemistry here. You know, we might not like each other in the outside of the office, but in the office we could put our differences aside and all that. I know I could trust him, he could trust me, and we have a way to work together no matter what our differences are, and that's where that trust comes into place. So when you're successful, you always hear, man, that group is successful because they have great chemistry. Well, what is chemistry? I mean, chemistry to me is such a broad term. It can mean a lot of different things. So I just decided to define it and make it as simplistic as possible with the definition. And to me, chemistry equates to trust.
Were you good in chemistry?
No,
I was lousy.
I was terrible.
You mentioned this last week that, you know, once you assumed you were going to have to make some changes and concessions in terms of to accommodate the lack of practice. So now 4 or 5 days into it, now how is the sort of the expectation match with what you see out here? how you might have to change things again going forward.
No, you know, the one thing is these guys have worked pretty hard. Not pretty hard. They've worked really hard, and I've pushed them. They've responded, and you know, at times I just got to make sure I don't go too hard and too long, because I like to practice. I like to teach, and so I have to make sure that I'm doing my job and not killing the guys, you know, in the first 2 to 3 weeks. And it's a fine balance, because again, I go back to, that's what I like to, I like to work, I like to sweat, I like my guys to learn and get better sooner than later, but having that patience and understanding is going to be a huge or a big part or a key for me in terms of the development of this team.